The Boys Season 5 Episode 7 has a lot it has to unravel after that insane ending in Episode 6. So I wanted to talk about every major theory, every possible outcome, and which ones I actually think could happen going into the second to last episode of the entire show. Because at this point, we're not in this setup mode anymore. We're not in the part of the season where the show is just planting seeds and teasing where things might go. We are officially at the point where every choice matters. So let's start with the first thing everyone noticed. The title. The Frenchman, the female, and the man called Mother's Milk. With a title like that, fans are already theorizing that someone named in the episode title is going to die. And honestly, from the way this season has been moving, I don't think that's a crazy theory at all. If anything, I think that probably is the point. The title is putting Frenchie, Kimiko, and MM directly in the spotlight. And when a show like The Boys does that this late in the final season, that is usually not a good sign. Now, we've already had major deaths from the Seven and other soups, but we have not had that one huge death from the Boys crew yet. And with only 2 episodes left, it really feels like the show has been saving those deaths for the end. Episode 8 is probably going to be an absolute bloodbath. I think we're going to see innocent people die, soups die, and probably members of the Boys die too. But episode 7 might be the episode that starts that domino effect. Now, who do I think dies out of the 3 names listed in the title? Now, that's where it gets tricky because I could honestly see an argument for all 3. But I still think the most likely death is either Frenchie, Kimiko, or both of them. And the reason I say that is because the breakup between Frenchie and Kimiko in season 5 felt more than just relationship drama. It felt like the writers were pulling them apart emotionally before they physically remove one of them from the story. Because you have to ask the question, why spend 4 seasons building up this relationship and making the audience root for them just to break them up right before the finale? It almost feels like the show is setting them up for one last tragic moment where they realize how much they still love each other. But by the time they realize it, it's obviously too late. And that is exactly the type of cruel writing The Boys would obviously do. Now, if Frenchie dies, I think it will be through a sacrifice. That just makes the most sense for his character. Frenchie has always been someone who carries guilt. He has made a lot of mistakes and he has always seen himself as someone who needs to make up for the things he has done. So if Frenchie dies protecting Kimiko, I feel like that would be tragic, but it would also make 100% sense. But if Kimiko dies, I think it would be even more brutal because Kimiko is one of those characters who has survived so much that you almost start to believe she is invincible. So if the show wants to shock the audience, killing Kimiko would do it, especially because her powers make people feel like she can survive anything. And if both Frenchie and Kimiko die, that might be the craziest route they could possibly do. Imagine Frenchie sacrifices himself for Kimiko, then Kimiko loses control after watching him die. She goes all out, completely rage-filled, and then gets killed because she runs into a fight she cannot win at all. That would be heartbreaking, but it would also show how dangerous Homelander and Soldier Boy have become together. Now, speaking of Soldier Boy and Homelander, I think it's safe to say that we are going to see them team up in episode 7 and to possibly episode 8. Like, not just temporarily standing beside each other like they've been doing the past couple episodes. I mean a real father and son duo. And I don't think Soldier Boy is going to turn his back on Homelander this time at all. At first, I thought Soldier Boy might still betray him because that's kind of, what he does in the show. He is selfish and he does not really care about anyone unless they reflect something back at him. But after episode 6, I do think things have changed because Soldier Boy gave Homelander the V1. Like, that is not a small gesture at all. That is literally handing Homelander immortality. And that is what makes this so dangerous because Homelander has always wanted family. He has always wanted someone to validate him, and Soldier Boy is probably the one person who can give him that validation in a way that actually matters to him. Madeline Stillwell manipulated him into becoming what he is today, but Soldier Boy is his father, so when Soldier Boy finally chooses him, that is probably going to unlock the worst version of Homelander we have ever seen in the entire show. Because now Homelander does not think he is a god, his father kind of agrees too. Ever since Homelander took V1, the boys are not just fighting Homelander anymore. They are fighting a fully validated Homelander with Soldier Boy as a backup. Dude, that's just GG's right there. I really do not see a world in where they win this at all. Which brings us to the next theory. How in the world are the boys gonna even beat Homelander, let alone both of them? Because after episode 6, the boys need a real plan now. They cannot just walk into this fight and hope for the best. Now, there have been some theories going around TikTok and YouTube saying that Mother's Milk will somehow get Soldier Boy's powers and then use them to disarm Homelander of the V1, basically knocking him back down to his original state. And I mean, I get why people like that theory. It would be poetic. MM has been tied to Soldier Boy's story for so long, so MM getting Soldier Boy's power and using it against Homelander and Soldier Boy would feel like a full circle moment. But honestly, I just don't think that's gonna happen at all. We already saw Butcher take V in earlier seasons and basically got a version of Homelander's power in the show. He was shooting lasers out of his eyes and going toe to toe with Supes. So if they turn around and give MM Soldier Boy's exact power too, it might feel like they are just handing out convenient power upgrades to really whoever needs them. Now, could MM take V? Maybe. Could he be forced into a situation where he has to become the very thing he hates? Definitely. I feel like that's exactly where MM's character is going to lead into because of this episode already. So if he has to inject himself to protect his family, protect the boys, that would be a brutal moral choice for him. But the more likely plan, in my opinion, is that the boys have to use Soldier Boy himself as the weapon. We already know how Soldier Boy's blast can fry Compound V out of Soup systems, or at least, weaken them to the point where their powers are stripped. So if Homelander has V1, maybe the only powerful thing to cancel it out is Soldier Boy's blast. That means the boys would have to bait Soldier Boy into blasting them, then move out of the way at the last second so it hits Homelander, which, kind of is insane because Homelander now has V1. He probably is so much faster than they could even imagine. I really just don't see a way they win at all. Like, I really have no idea in my brain. That's what takes me to Marie from Gen V. So Marie was shown in the official trailer for The Boys Season 5, and from the way it looks, she comes in during a later episode. So episode 7 makes a lot of sense for her to return, or to make a cameo in The Boys. And I feel like The Boys would be 100% desperate, and they are going to need anyone with powers that can actually matter against Homelander. And Marie's powers are pretty insane. Blood manipulation is one of the most dangerous abilities in the entire universe if the writers let her use it at full potential. Because think about it, if Marie can control blood, theoretically she could stop someone's heart, make them bleed internally, and maybe manipulate the V in their bloodstream. That is what makes her so dangerous. But here's the problem. I don't think Marie is going to beat Homelander whatsoever. I think the boys might reach out to her, or maybe she might come into the story because she realizes how bad things are getting. But if she tries to go at Homelander directly, I think she will 100% die. Now, I'm not saying she wouldn't get any hits on Homelander. Obviously, I feel like she would do maybe something. I mean, she would have to do at least something right with her powers, but killing Homelander with V1? Absolutely not. There's just no way this character from Gen V just comes into the boys and she was the solution for the problem all along. I feel like that would just be honestly lazy writing at that point. Now, let's talk about the Deep killing Noir, because Homelander is definitely not going to take that well at all. Now, the Deep has always been a joke, but the thing about the Deep is that he somehow keeps surviving. I just really don't know how. Every season this man does something stupid and somehow makes it out alive. I mean, bless his heart, brother, at this point, because I guess he deserves it. But killing Noir might be the one thing that he cannot survive, because Homelander is not going to let that slide at all. Even if Homelander did not truly care about Noir as a person, Noir still represented loyalty. Noir was one of the few people Homelander could look at and think, this person belongs under the 7. I mean, he literally cloned him, so he has to think that, right? So for the Deep to kill him, even if it was out of stupidity, Homelander is going to see that as betrayal. And Homelander hates betrayal more than almost anything, as we already know. In episode 7, I definitely think Homelander will find out that the Deep killed Noir and, give him a little taste of his own medicine. But yeah, these theories are absolutely insane. What do you guys think?